Destructibility is something that every shooter is trying to achieve, and Red Faction Guerrilla is really at the top now. It's taken what Battlefield Bad Company did, but really has expanded on it, blowing buildings to the foundations and just seeing this kind of natural way of destruction rather than a scripted manner.
Report to Parker Sector.
So the story is quite a good way to, intro into the game. It's basically just one big wrecking crew of where you just go around Mars destroying things, and well, the story's hit and miss really. It kind of, you get thrown there, you're a dude called Alex Mason, just there to work on Mars with your brother, but then your brother dies just suddenly, and it's all a bit quick, and you kind of think that, if they just flushed out a little bit more of the characters, then maybe the story would have impacted a little bit more. And I really hate when games don't flush out characters and then try and make you feel sympathy towards characters later on. It just doesn't work. So the single player for the most part is just a fun little skirmish, I guess. It's kind of just missions thrown together with a kind of middle ground story, just tying everything together, and it's okay, but it just isn't one of those Hollywood blockbusters, which it actually could have been. So in the campaign, you are part of the Red Faction, who are fighting against the EDF, the Earth Defense Force, who are running riot on Mars. And basically throughout the campaign, you're just liberating each sector of Mars, and you do this by completing about 3 or 4 Red Faction missions, and also a couple of the side missions to get the morale of the area up, so that civilians will help you liberate that area. Now the good thing about this, it doesn't make you do loads of side missions. It's only about 2 or 3 that you have to complete, which is good because the side missions are the same in each area, so you're not going to get bored just doing them, but you can just keep doing them if you're a completionist and you want to complete the entirety of the game. There's also boxes to smash and key structures to destroy, and overall it's just showing you the physics engine of Red Faction throughout the single player, which isn't a bad thing because it is really great.
For me, they already have.
So you've got all the weapons that you need. Obviously you're going to go for the high explosive ones to cause maximum destruction, so rocket launchers and mines and a missile propelled rocket are the way to go. But then you've got your normal assault rifles, etc. But then you've got vehicles like walkers and trucks and everything. Again, you're going to go for the walkers to cause maximum destruction, and all of them are a nice balance. Some cars don't handle as well as others, but that's understandable. But the clever thing about the weapon upgrades is that you upgrade through this resource called salvage, and salvage is just scrap metal that you can find from destroyed buildings. And the good thing about this is that you don't end up at the end of the game with every weapon. You pick and choose the ones which look interesting to you. Now this might sound bad, but it might encourage you to play it a second time, but also it keeps you wondering, you want to collect more, so you can see what this ninja star gun can actually do, or electric gun. So it's a good way to actually encourage you to destroy more things to collect more resource. The multiplayer side of Red Faction is really fun. It offers 21 maps and a huge variety of modes to play in. But on top of that, it also adds backpacks, and even though you can get the jetpack in the single player, it has 10 more that you can actually play with. So there's like the Rhino pack, which makes you a juggernaut, stealth pack so you can go invisible, there's the thrust pack to boost you straight up into the air, and they all have their own tactical element to them. For example, you're standing close to someone, you thrust up using the thrust pack, it'll knock the enemy on their feet, so that when you come back down, you can smack them across the head with your hammer, and you've killed them. So it's just a lot of fun. The game modes are really good as well, because there's the normal standard team deathmatch and capture the flag, but who wants to play those when you can play destroy the building matches? And it's that kind of mix which really adds to the game, and just overall it's really, really fun. So the single player is probably not worth another playthrough, but the multiplayer is definitely something to check out. The destruction is definitely the best that we've seen in any video game, except from sometimes you can have a building that's just getting held up by one strand of piping from the building, which can be a bit frustrating, especially in the multiplayer, where your objective is to take down that building and you've just got to the last second and it's still being held up by that one piece of pipe. But overall, it is the best destruction that we've seen in any video game. It's just so natural, and everything destroys the way you think that it will. So taking out the foundations of a bridge will just make the center of the bridge collapse, and it's just well done. And the graphics hold up as well, and the frame rate stays steady even when you've got all these buildings collapsing on screen. Although sometimes you get this weird glitching motion with the buildings, but again, it's acceptable to what it's actually achieving. So overall, Red Faction is fun because you're destroying things, and who wouldn't have fun just destroying things?
I thought I was the